I remember like my mom would say comments like, I want like a Blackberry. Like one of my buddies had like a Blackberry, you know, like when we were growing up. And then she was like, Blackberries are only for executives. So it was like those little things that would like, instead of like getting so annoyed, I'd be like, no, like I'm gonna prove her wrong. Like I like, you know. And so like that was like kind of like the start of like me wanting to like start to build something for myself. I have always had a goal of like, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a trillionaire, right? So I have like these crazy things that have always been in my head, and I don't know why, it's always been there. I like to be like motivated to go for something big, even though a lot of the time that can get intense when you're in the process of like actually like trying to go there, and like a lot of things are coming your way.
For someone with $5K, a laptop, and no connections, what would you tell them to do today? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Built to Scale. Today's episode is a little different. I'm stepping out from behind the camera and into the host chair. I'm Micah Peterson, Quinn's videographer, and today I get the honor of flipping the script and interviewing the man behind the mic, Quinn Schilz, the founder, president, and visionary force behind Master Roofing, Inc. You've seen him talk to millionaires, business moguls, and rising stars, but today we're diving into his story. How he went from real estate hustler to building a nine-figure vision in roofing, and how he plans to hit $1 billion in annual revenue. We'll talk about his new book, Beyond the Roof, looking back on the journey to build a $10 billion success story, the future of AI in construction, and the gritty truth about what it actually takes to build something that lasts. Let's get into it. Welcome,
job, bro.
Quinn.
Good job.
Welcome on your own podcast, Quinn.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Let's jump right into it. So you went from selling houses to selling roofs. What flipped the switch for you?
So, I mean, selling houses, like everyone and their mom has a real estate license, especially out here in California. You watch, Selling Sunset or $1 million listing, and all of a sudden you think you're going to make like a couple $1 million a year in real estate. And I mean, it was great. It started when I was like 17. I graduated high school. Like when I was like 16, I did like an online high school program. So that way I could graduate early. I wasn't like into the social scene. I was always reading books on, how I can get rich, since I was like 14. And I just kind of wanted to get out of like the rat race. And so real estate was like the one thing I always thought was going to be a great way to have financial independence. Like, when you're reading books like that, it always talks about, 90% of millionaires made their money in real estate. And so I always wanted to be an investor. Like I thought that was going to be the way to be successful. Like all of the top guys are developers, investors, that have a lot of money. And so I see all these guys on Instagram with Bugattis, these car collections, and what do? They're doing commercial real estate. And so I had a mentor / stepdad, MK, in my life, and he kind of was like, when I was younger, I went out and I knocked on like every car dealership, and that's how I learned sales. Like, so I knocked on the door at every car dealership. One guy said, "Hey, you can come work for us." He learned kind of sales through that, and then ended up being like a general manager for like a Ferrari dealership, and then ended up opening up his own like luxury car store. So he was like mentor to me at that age, and he's like, you should you want to be in real estate, you want to be this investor, you want to make all this money, why don't you go and start by getting to know the industry? Like, not nobody just became it overnight. And you read all these books like, no money down real estate, you're gonna do all this stuff, and you're gonna get there, but you need money to get there, right? And so I said, okay. So I put on a suit and I just started, I went on Google Maps and I just searched up every real estate brokerage in the area. And I just, I think it was a Saturday. I went with my aunt because I was, my Aunt Michelle, because I was scared to go by myself because I was just nervous, like to walk into these offices and put myself out there.
Of course.
So she said, I'll come with you and like be your support. So she came with me. And I went out to a few different offices and just said, "Hey, I'm Quinn, I'm 17 years old. I want to work for free. I want to learn. I'll be your intern. I'll do whatever you need. I'll help you in the office." So there was this lady, Diana Alon. She owned A-Team Realty. She was a big agent in the REO space from the San Fernando Valley. And she took me in. She had about like 40 agents in her brokerage,
Wow.
and 40, 50 agents. And then she kind of like put me with like two of her agents that were like kind of close to her office, and just kind of had me just do basic things to get into real estate. And then from there, I kind of like got into open houses, started learning a little bit about like the real estate process, escrow, title, all of that. And then I said, and then I can go into detail about later, but basically I went from, working with her, getting my license with her. I started with her when I was like 17, 18. You can take the test in California to get the license. So I think right around my birthday, like I had already studied, I
Nice.
did all the courses. So like right when I could legally take the test, I took the test, got my license. Um, Ended up moving to another office where I was working with a few different like investors, guys in the valley that would go and buy a piece of land in Encino or Studio City for like $1 million, and then kind of tear it down like a small house on a big lot,
Right.
and then they'd rebuild like one of those little McMansions, right? And then they'd sell it for $4 million, and they'd make like $1 million profit.
Yeah.
Worked with those guys for a little while, and then from there I ended up doing other sales jobs, selling medical devices, kind of flying around the country, living in different parts of the country. Kind of got away from real estate, and then did like home improvement sales. So I had like a big sales background since that age of 18, kind of like. And I would say to anyone who wants to create a business, you need to have sales, because sales is what brings in revenue, and revenue is like the first step of having a business. Like there's no business you're not making money. You can say, you have a business of writing a book, but if a book isn't selling, then
It's not a business.
it's just it's not making any money, right? So first step is making money, and then after that you need to figure out like how to create like processes and systems to like increase your EBITDA or your profit. And then once you increase your profit in the business, that's when you actually are like running a business that's actually worth something. And I think the goal of starting a business is I think when you first do it, you do it for the fact that like you want to get out of the rat race, and you want to stop working for somebody else, and kind of want to just do it yourself, and have your own freedom. But I think the goal is that you want to sell that business, right? And if you can sell that business, now let's say you can build a business that's going to run without you, and now you get $5 or $10 million. Now a lot of other options open up for you. You could buy other businesses. It's a lot easier to buy an existing business, fix it up, put the right systems in place, and then sell it again. And that's what a lot of these big guys do. So it was a long transition from sales and like learning the different industries of sales, to then building, then getting kind of introduced to that through real estate, and then getting involved in other industries, and then getting into home improvement sales, and then roofing, and then eventually saying I want to open my own company to kind of work for myself, and then realizing like the systems and processes to get there. So it's actually an amazing story how I got to this point. I'm very proud of myself for being where I am at my age, but I think that as an entrepreneur, you always are feeling like you could be doing so much more. Like I see so many guys my age that are like a million years ahead of me, and then I'm always comparing myself to them. But my grandpa used to always tell me, it's like, don't compare yourself to anyone else, just like look at your own progress. And I think that's something you need to remember all the time, of like how to like look at your own progress, and where were you a year ago, and like I see how much we've grown, and I know we're going to continue to keep growing.
What was the lowest moment in business for you, and how did you climb out of it?
I think that when I got my first lawsuit, when not that we get sued all the time. No, but it was a really tough time, because it was when I was starting my first business. It was when I started the business, the roofing business, and we had subcontracted a job, and we were managing the job, making sure guys were doing things, and the subcontractor didn't do what they were supposed to do. They caused a problem on the job. Luckily we did everything the right way. We had, our contracts in place. They were responsible, for the project. They were licensed, they were insured, they added us to their insurance, all that. But at the time, it was just kind of, something that really was overwhelming. It kind of made me think like, hey, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should run away from the problem. Maybe I should just close the business and open another one in another name and or move to another state or just, kind of try and run away from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time it felt like it was like the biggest failure and I was trying to do everything to make it right. I was trying to do everything to do everything the right way, the perfect way, working with a lawyer, working with um my team, working with the customer who ended up getting the short end of the stick on all of this, and trying to help solve all of that for them. And really just feeling defeated because it's just you go to the worst place scenario in your head of like you're gonna lose everything you worked so hard for is gonna collapse and go away. And for me it was like I ended up meeting the right people. I went to one of Grant Cardone's 10X conferences in Miami where he has like the big arena filled with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with my wife, and it was at that stage where I was like, I think we're gonna close the business and we're gonna move to Miami, and I'm gonna come here. You don't need to worry about money, babe. I know how to sell. I can, we'll make money here doing something. I can open up another business and we'll just start fresh. And like, I want to get away from the headache.
Yeah.
And at that conference, they're always trying to sell you like another course at these conferences, right? And so you go to the conference, you spend $2,000 ticket, and then they're like, here's a $40,000 offer. So I told her that before we got there. I was like, hey, we're not buying anything. Don't get like, it's going to sound good. We don't need it. We're not buying it.
Yeah.
And then she said, after like the second or third day, hey, you know what? Maybe you should consider this. And I was like, I already told you, dude, they're gonna try and sell you. They know how to do this. Like that, we don't need it. Like it's just about working hard.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting another guy. His name was Jason Schweideman. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, Jason. And he owns Dynamite Roofing in Utah. And he's like, I think the same age as me, maybe like a year younger, older. And his business, he was in business the same amount of time as me, and he was doing $7 million in revenue, and I was doing like $1.9 million in revenue.
Okay.
And I was like, what is this guy doing different, And then he was like, I met him because the sales rep who kept trying to bug me to buy the big upsell was like, here, you got to meet Jason. Like Jason's already did the course. Like he's already invested. Like he's on the next level. Like he bought the course and then they sold him the next course. And then before they came out with the next course, he already gave him the money for the next. He spent like, I don't know at this point, but I know he was like, he's investing a lot in his education and in himself.
Yeah.
And when I asked him, hey bro, why are you doing that? After I've gotten to know him over time, he said like, dude, I want to be a billionaire. He's like, I want to be a billionaire and I want to do it in the shortest amount of time possible. And if I have to give them $1 million, like, and that's going to get me there faster, and these guys are ballers and they know what they're doing, then if I'm a billionaire, what am I going to think about $1 million? So I'm going to figure it out and like get around these guys.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And this was like a $40,000 course. And my wife said, let's do it. She said, you know what, maybe my mom will split it with you. Like my mom, like I see the value. So her mom actually paid for half of the course. And she's like, I'll use it for my business, but she really just did it to help me, and Caro. And then she paid like for half of the course. I paid for half of the course, and we like did it like in a payment plan, and we just like, they closed us on the deal. And I was like, I'm going to take this very serious. Like I'm going to go out. So I flew out to Arizona for a few of them. I did some on Zoom, and they had like a people workshop. They had a finance workshop. They had an operations workshop. They had a, I think there was like two others. I think it's sales and marketing. Like there's a few others, and then there's a 10x 360, right? That's like the thing. And it's kind of like a boot camp MBA. Like they teach you all the things that you need to like apply in your business, like things you would learn maybe in business school, right? Like just the standard things, but like I didn't go to business school. So going to that, and then like they show you like how to scale a company, and they take companies in that are doing like 2 or 3 million, and they talk about these break points, right? Like the $1 to $3 million, and then you have a break point, and then it's like I don't know the exact number. It's like 5 to 10 million, and then there's a break point, 15 to 20, and then like 20 to 50, and then like 50 to 100 million, and then at each of these break points, they call it, like your business breaks if you don't add new people, if you don't add the right technology, if you don't do the right steps, right?
Right.
So I met all these guys through this process, and I realized like, hey, mistakes happen in business. You need to learn how to prevent them, but a lawsuit can happen, things can happen. And they started to open my mind up with like, you need to start thinking, how can you make the process better for the customer? How can you do things better for the customer? How can you build this business so it's good for the employees? How can you stop being the person doing everything and start building a team?
Right.
And they really opened my eyes on how to do that. And then I started seeing other people who've already done it, like Jason, who already built his company. Daniel Chavez, he's another guy that has been like a great friend and mentor to me. Like he built like a landscaping company and he's doing over $10 million. And like all these guys are like at that next level that they've already gone through all the stuff that I'm like learning and going through now.
Yeah.
So like having the knowledge and like it really does make such a difference on like how you can actually start to build something. And I see guys that are like still trying to figure it out where I was and they're kind of stuck in that. But because I took that step and like did the investment in the education, I think that I've always been one, like, don't buy the course, don't buy the upsell and this and that, because that's like the sales background in me of like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But when I put my ego to the side and actually like wrote the check and I had the help from like my wife to push me to do it and my mother-in-law, it really like opened doors for me because like that knowledge, and Jason told me this, that knowledge that you're going to get through this stuff, like who cares if this business doesn't work out? Like you can do it with like 20 other businesses.
True.
Because now you know how to build a team. Now you know how to do operations. Now you know how to do like all these million things. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's cool to see like literally about a year ago, I want to say, or like a year and a half ago at this point, like that's when we really started implementing, like building a team, following these processes, doing things, getting an office, like, you know, and it's really like started to explode of like where it's going. And we have some really great people on board right now who are fully believe in the vision and are like going to help us get there.
Cool. What's the most money you've made in a single year, and what did you do differently to get you there?
Still coming up.
I have always had a goal of like, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a trillionaire, right? So I have like these crazy things that have always been in my head, and I don't know why. It's always been there. I like to be like motivated to go for something big, even though a lot of the time that can get intense when you're in the process of like actually like trying to go there. Like a lot of things are coming your way. SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with zero down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford. So this year our target is to do 10 million. And what's different with this year than like the year before or any other year is that we're putting like SOPs and processes in place. We're implementing like an EOS system into our business, which is from a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. And it's the entrepreneurial operating system. So we're starting to implement that into the business. So it's really putting like a leadership team together, and like each person is taking on like quarterly tasks and targets so that we get to the next step quicker. Putting a plan in place of how to grow, and really having like a team. Like you can go fast alone, but you can go far when you have a group together, right? That saying's like very true. Like if you have, as we started, like I started with an assistant, like I just needed like one person to help me. And from that assistant, like we've built out like a field team. We built out a sales team. We have a marketing person. We have like 2 CSRs that answer the phones. We had a financial controller, right? We have somebody like managing the finances. We have a CPA. So all these like, we have a legal team, like all of these things, like, it's more than me now, right? It's people believe in like what this thing can be. We have a fleet of trucks. And so what we're doing differently now is we're showing people like how we can change the roofing industry. We're showing people our mission, and we're bringing people in that really believe in it. And if you have enough people working hard towards the same goal, you can achieve anything. Like look at what Elon Musk does. Elon Musk goes out and he creates a mission that we're gonna be the first people to go to Mars. If Elon Musk sat down with you right now, Micah, and said, "I want you to be my personal videographer. I want you to like be the guy to take me to Mars," like who can give you a better offer?
Yeah.
So it's it's when you create a vision that's like so big, people want to be a part of it.
Of course.
That's like how you build something huge, because he's attracting like the brightest minds in the world to come work for him, the smartest people, the people that are most creative. Everyone wants to be a part of that world-changing thing.
Yeah.
And and where do they make their money in SpaceX? They got government contracts to build rockets, right?
Right.
And so but they sell they're not telling their people, hey, come work with us to be part of a government contract to make rockets. No, it's like, hey, we're gonna be the first people to go to Mars. It's the vision, right? It's the mission, it's the vision, and that like people are like pumped for that, and so you get the best people. And then also you have the people that, you know, look at Tesla, right? Like, we're gonna save the planet, going green, solar, electric cars, all this stuff. How do they make their money? Like it's like it's bad. They're creating batteries. They're doing like it's crazy. So, yeah, it's I don't even know the question anymore. But
you talk about building a $10 billion company. How do you even start thinking on that scale?
So originally the goal was to do like 100 million, and I was looking at it and it didn't really scare me or inspire me. I saw it and I was like, you know, like, this has been done before. People are doing that.
Yeah.
There's inflation, there's numbers. I have always had a goal of like, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a trillionaire, right? So I have like these crazy things that have always been in my head, and I don't know why. It's always been there. I like to be like motivated to go for something big, even though a lot of the time that can get intense when you're in the process of like actually like trying to go there, and like a lot of things are coming your way. But in the roofing industry in particular, I see that there's a big gap of like a big brand. Like, if you think of like an electric car company, Tesla, right? If you think of like a huge shopping place where you can get everything, it's all around the nation, like Walmart. There's Walmarts everywhere, right? You can be in middle of Utah, there's a Walmart.
Right.
If you think about like the best toothpaste brand, I don't know, there's just always like, there's a big player, bro.
Of course,
like there's
of
a big
course.
player, and like that big player like dominates. And like in the roofing industry, there's some really large companies, right? Like that are out there that dominate. But like, what if you could just like pull out your phone, right? And like you could say like, okay, I want like a new shingle roof. This is the price. Check out. And then a crew arrives at your house like in the next like week, and the roof gets done. Everything's handled, and you just like swipe and complete. And like, that was your interaction.
Yeah.
Like, what if I could do that?
Yeah.
With AI, with like in the future, right? What if I could just like send a drone from here to like the house and do it? So it's not there yet. That's not where it is. But like, why not have that vision? Why not bring people in to get excited towards that? Like, the world's going to continue to evolve. Like, it's going to get there, like, for sure, right? So we can either be a part of it or not. And we happen to be in this industry. And I think that like, there's always the mindset of like, the grass is greener. Like, okay, I'm going to try this other thing. This sounds like a good idea. Or maybe like roofing, you can't scale roofing, or this doesn't work, right? But, or you can have the mindset of like, I'm going to make this company like the best roofing company. I'm going to be the best in customer service. I'm going to have the best accountability with our crews and with our team. I'm gonna have like the best brand. I'm gonna have the nicest trucks. Everyone's gonna recognize us. We're gonna be on billboards. And like, I'm inspired by people who've already done it. Like a huge mentor of mine that I'm trying to get on this podcast is Ishmael Valdez, right?
Yeah.
And you know who he is because I always talk about him. But like, he had Next Gen, right? Which was a huge company in California. It's still around. Service Champions was like the one forever. Okay. And then he came in and he's like, okay, I see what Service Champions is doing. Like, I want to do that. And like, he said, we're going to be the next generation. So that was Next Gen. And then he started with some trucks and some guys. And then he like built up his company with like debt. Like, he just kept maxing out credit of like, you know, everywhere to like just keep building, and kept investing in marketing. At one point, he was spending over $1 million a month in marketing. I've heard him say that, I don't want to quote it, but I think he was around like $8 million in debt when he sold the company, but he sold the company for like $100 million. And so it's like, he understood like how to build a big company and like a trusted brand. And he did throughout California. I've heard him say he wanted to be like the biggest in the nation, but he got an offer that changed his life.
Yeah.
And he took it. Right. And so why can't we have that vision? And it's for our goal for 10 years is to be $1 billion in annual revenue, serve 50,000 clients, an average project value of $20,000, and get like, these roofs done. We want residential, commercial, and we want to be the biggest name, take over California, and then expand from there.
How do you handle people who don't align with the vision? Do you coach them or do you cut them?
You always try and coach before you cut. I think that the worst thing you can have is like somebody bad for your culture in your company for too long, because it's like a bad apple ruins the bunch.
Right.
That's like a huge thing that like we struggle with and we're learning still, like is like, but like having bad people, hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. And so when somebody comes in and like it's like their first week and they start giving you like pushback on everything, and you guys like agreed on a job description and you agreed on like what needs to be done, and like they're telling you it's impossible, it's not going to work, and this and that, like me personally, like I wouldn't even try and coach that because it's too soon. It's like there's no, I don't think there's like it's just a misalignment, and like there's a million people out there that want to work and like and build something great, and there's a lot of great people, and so I would not coach in that case. But if it's somebody that like I see as like, humble and wants to learn, but they're making mistakes and they want to grow with you, of course, coach. Like, hey, you don't need to know everything. Like, as long as you're willing to show up and like work hard and like learn and do your best, and like you're willing to grow and you're willing to get coaching and you're like actually going to put in the work. I want that person 9 times out of 10. Like 10 times out of 10. Like I think that's the person I want all the time working with us, right? I don't need the best salesman, but if you're going to like actually like go out and train and you're going to do what I say and you're going to get the result, great. If I'm going to train you for 3 months and you're not going to sell anything, okay, well, it's probably not the right thing for either of us, because I have to spend all this money on leads and then you're not selling anything, you're not making money. It doesn't make sense. So there's a time and place for it, but definitely people have to align with the vision. Like if they're, and there shouldn't be too much coaching on the vision side. Like it's either you see it or you don't, you believe in it or you don't. And if you're not believing in it and you can't see it, then it's not a good fit.
Right. Gotcha. Let's switch gears a little bit to AI and ChatGPT. Let's switch gears a little bit. What's your favorite ChatGPT prompt that actually makes you money?
My biggest ChatGPT prompt that I use all the time is like, rewrite the following in a professional email, and then I just talk to my phone. I do that I do that many times a day. But right now, my wife and I are using it to make a personal budget for ourselves. We spend money too much, and we're not really controlled on it. And we have a lot of goals on like what we want to invest in, and how we want to have like a second wedding, and a lot of things. So we're putting together a budget. So ChatGPT helped us like create all of that, like by just prompting it, asking it questions, saying we need this much money for this and that. So it helps with math. It helps with creating SOPs, like a standard operating procedure. So like if there's something I'm doing all the time in the business, Brandon Dawson says, if you're going to, if he's ever going to do something in his business, he's only going to do it once. And he's going to do it in front of somebody, so that they can learn how to do it. So the SOP, I create them on ChatGPT all the time. And it's like, hey, create an SOP for this. So, for example, the podcast, right? Like when we come up with like scripts and questions to ask people, we do our research and we ask questions. One of the things, like I have a template saved that's like that like from ChatGPT, like on a prompt on how to prompt like the questions for these podcasts, so that we like have like it knows all the things that the kind of topics I want to cover. Yeah. So that's like a stream of money in the podcast, right? Like chat helps with that. Like there's many different things, how to build revenue models, profitability, forecasting. Like you can use it for so many different things to make money. Especially like I love chat.
Yeah. What are your hiring green flags and your immediate red flags?
So when we're hiring people, number one green flag is like your experience. Like I want to make sure that you're a professional in that position that you're hiring for. Like you have experience in that position.
Yeah.
You're certified. you know, like school's great, but like I want to know like what was your work experience? Like what were you doing before? How did you apply that knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another green flag is like hungry to learn, has a great attitude,
Mm-hmm.
like just wants to like help us get like sees our vision,
Yeah.
aligns with the mission, our core values. I would say a red flag is like somebody who shows up with like a bad attitude.
Yeah.
I like it's funny that I have to say that, but like we just had a group interview the other day, and there's always like one or two people that are just like dude, like why did you show up for the interview? You know, like they just have such a bad attitude that they're like don't want to. They show you like they don't want to be there, and
Yeah.
like you know, that's like having like not like a good attitude. Having a bad attitude is like the worst thing. It's a horrible culture fit. I would also say that there's another red flag would be when somebody um when somebody just like shows up and doesn't um I don't know. I don't know. My brain's fried right now on this one.
All good.
I've dealt with so many
Yeah, I know.
so many red flags.
I know,
With people.
Transitions into the next one. When did you know you needed to fire someone, and how did you handle it?
I think now it's pretty clear. Like it's kind of like 3 strikes, you're out. Like first time you're seeing a problem with something, you just have to nip it in the butt and just say like, this is you know, your verbal warning. Like I like you. You're a great person. You know, like we can be friends outside of this, but this isn't going to work in the business.
Mm-hmm.
If it happens again, there's going to be a written warning, and then third strike, you're out. You know,
Mhm.
like very simple. Like take the emotion out of it. Like that's when you need to let someone go. And then if it like immediately letting someone go, obviously, if there's like something that's like a complete like culture misalignment, and there's like you can only do so much coaching when it's just somebody's like personality, and that's just like how they are.
Yeah.
If they have a criminal record or background, they don't pass a background check. That's definitely an answer for the question before. Like
I would hope so.
don't like take a chance on that person. Like that's not a person you need to have in your company.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not there to like save people. You're there to take care of your baby, which is this business. Like, and that business is taking care of a lot of families and people who are actually doing everything to like do their best every day. So you're not being fair to everyone else in the business
Mhm.
if you're like letting certain things slide with like people that because it's affecting everyone overall.
How do you set the culture for high performance without burning people out?
You need to create a winning environment for everyone. So you need to show people what's in it for them. Like one of the things that we do when we hire people is we always try and do like personal, professional, and financial goals. So it's PPF goals. So you sit down with somebody and you ask them like, what are your 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals? Personally, professionally, and financially. And you really like find out like you help them like dig into themselves, like what do they want, because people want to need a win with you, right? And they need to feel like they're having their own personal wins along the way. That's how they're gonna want to be a part of it. So if you show them what's in it for them, it's a lot easier to push somebody to get like their job done, because it's like it's not for me, you're doing it for yourself, and this is what you want to achieve. Especially with like salespeople, you know, like that can be like a job that you can quote unquote, I don't like this term burnout, but yeah, like it's a job where you can like wear yourself out because you're driving around, you're trying to sell. Sometimes you're just hitting a wall, you're not closing, and it's like very frustrating because you're going out and you think you're doing your best every day, and so you need to have like a why, and you need to have your reason, and you need to have goals. That's another red flag. You know, now I'm thinking about it for the other question. Like if you don't have, if like one of the first things we check is like goals, right? Like we do 3 interviews: culture interview, operations interview, and core values. So like first right away we're seeing like, do you have a good attitude? You're a good culture fit. You're ready to learn. You want to do stuff. Are you a person that's motivated by goals? Do you think are you forward thinking? Or are you somebody that I don't have any goals? Okay, so then you're probably not going to have any goals that work. You know, motivation, right? So you there's a strategy to it.
What do you do when you hit plateaus, either financially or operationally?
I don't. That's a good question because I was gonna say like I don't think there is plateaus, but there's always kind of like a glass ceiling. Like there's companies out there that kind of like stay at the same revenue point. They don't grow, right?
Mhm.
But is that really because like of the market? Is that really because like what's causing that plateau, right?
Yeah,
And so what I've learned is a company should be constantly growing, right?
of
Like
course.
humans, we need to feel good, like we need to feel like we're growing, like towards something. We're working towards something, right?
Right.
And so it could be the vehicle you're in. It could be like the business or the product you're selling. Sometimes it's harder to scale certain businesses than other businesses, right? But you need to always be figuring out how do I get to the next level, and
Mhm.
like you're not gonna find those answers yourself. You need to read books on it. You need to talk to people who are already doing it in that industry or other industries, and like learn from them, and then take the action to implement those things in order to continue
Mhm.
to keep growing.
Mm.
That's how you avoid plateauing because you're going to continue to by putting yourself in the right rooms, by getting the right information, you're going
Mhm.
to be able to keep growing, and figuring out a way to grow.
What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs about learning AI?
I think that AI is not going to replace you. I think that the people that think that are going to get left behind, and they're going to be, you know, some yes, okay, let me say some jobs, like I'm sure there's going to be like, things that a computer can do. Like you look at the grocery stores. Like before you used to have a bunch of check stands, now there's a bunch more of the self checkouts,
Mhm.
right? Like less
Mhm.
there's one or two checkers at the front of the store. You even
Literally.
go to
That's
CVS,
crazy.
and they're like pointing at the fucking self checkouts by the door. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
so if you think about that kind of stuff, it's happening already, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's only going to continue to keep happening as you go to the have you ever been to one of those Amazon grocery stores?
Not yet, but
So
they look
I was
crazy.
that one like 7 years ago. So you need to go. There's one in
It's like
but it's depending on
it's like all like robots, right?
well when I was there. Well, I don't know. Well, I saw it, dude. I was at the grocery store the other day, and there was like a robot scanning the aisles for inventory.
That's crazy. I saw a video on TikTok of a robotic cart girl
Oh, really?
at a golf course.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
And it just drove around.
There's a robot already installing roofing shingles, so that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, look, it's what I was gonna where I was gonna say that is like yeah, there's some jobs like that you're gonna have like robots or AI like take place, like hard labor jobs, different things that the robot can replace, right? Where it's
Mhm.
not, um, which is great,
Yeah.
right? Um, because like this is what I heard Sam Altman say recently in an interview. He said like if he was like young again, this would be like the best time ever to start a business. Like where like you can literally have, I think he said like somebody can build like $1 billion or $1 trillion company from their bedroom without any employees, utilizing AI the right way. This can code for you. This is like you don't need a team. Like you can literally build like a world changing idea or software or something into AI. Like you're asking me for business advice about your business. What was the first thing I told you? I said, why don't you just like ask Chat
Yeah.
GPT like for a business plan and like give you ideas, and like now you've invested in a course, right?
Yeah.
Like I bet you some of that information you got in the course, you also got when you did that search, because
Yeah.
it gives you like the knowledge, right?
Yeah. I mean, from the most basic foundation, absolutely. It was
But
to
the more you
reach out.
question it, the more it will give you.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the same thing as sitting down with somebody who's doing something, right? Like a mentor, but it's it's something that like you now have the tools in your hands to create something great. Where before it was a lot more, it was a lot, it took a lot more steps to get that information.
Hmm. What's something your audience doesn't see that fuels your drive every day?
Um, maybe like my wife, I would say, like she pushes me like in a good way all the time, and like reminds me of like our goals and like my goals,
Hmm.
like things
Yeah.
I've told her like I'm gonna do, and You know, like she makes me remember like why we're doing what we're doing, and that, you know, when I'm overwhelmed or stressed, she's somebody I can always go to, and she'll always kind of like remind me that like, hey, this is like what we signed up for. Like it's okay, like you're stressed or whatever, but like there's no reason to be like a lot of there's a lot of business owners out there. She reminds me that like um why, and she keeps me motivated of like she's one of my biggest whys, like her, my family.
Mm-hmm.
I want to build something like for them that like I didn't have growing up.
Mm. What's a mistake you made that cost you time or money, but taught you something crucial?
I'm dealing with it right now, with my field operations and roofing crews. Um, in the beginning of the business, we did a lot of like subcontracting where we'd find other licensed roofers that were very qualified and had them perform the jobs, and then we just pay them like price per square foot, and then we just mark up, you know, for ourselves, and, you know, kind of handle the customer service and the permits and the materials and things like that.
Yeah.
They'd handle the labor. We started bringing labor in house about like full crews like 6 months ago, started getting our own trucks, and it's definitely costing me a lot of time um and money to figure out how to maximize them and be profitable, because it's
Right.
a new it's kind of it sounds funny as a roofing company, but it's kind of a new thing, right? Like for us to have efficient crews, so putting the right management in place, putting the right safety in place, putting
Mhm.
the right um putting the right motivation for them in place, right? Like how do we all win? Because the biggest companies aren't going to subcontract. They're not going to
No.
have other companies. Like the most valuable company is going to have everything under one roof.
Yeah.
They're going to have the materials, they're going to have their labor, they're going to have everything, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to be that. So it's costing time and money to get there. But it's worth it. Another thing is like our CRM, like getting Service Titan in place, right? Like that was a huge investment to do that. There's many times where we like maybe just wanted to quit. But by sticking it through, doing things the right way, paying for it, you know, paying consulting companies things, like we now have a much better grasp on our data, and that's going to allow us to scale the company because we're able to see where we're going. We're able to see what we're doing. We're able to track much better. So there's a lot of challenges that happen as you continue to grow, but a lot of I think things that held me back before when I was thinking small is like, hey, I shouldn't invest so much money into my business. Like I should save that profit of like 20,000 or 30,000. But instead now I'd say like, hey, throw it into a marketing campaign. Like let's get 2 more sales reps, let's get all these leads, and like let's generate more money, right?
Mhm.
Like I think the small mindset is like I'm gonna keep and save and hoard the money and like use it for myself and trips and different things.
Mhm.
But when you actually say like, okay, I'm going to reinvest, like it's going to cost you time and money to get better at certain things.
Yeah.
But once you do, like if you see the end goal in sight, like a lot of the time it's worth it, because in the end you'll come out much further ahead. Like you might have a time where it goes down a little bit because you're having that learning curve
Mhm.
of something, but in the end it's going to make you much more money and save you a lot more time.
Mm. What's the best investment you've ever made in business or in yourself? Was it the Grant Cardone 10X?
Still coming up.
I remember like my mom would say comments like, I want like a BlackBerry. Like one of my buddies had like a BlackBerry, you know, like when we were growing up. And then she was like, BlackBerries are only for executives. So it was like those little things that would like, instead of like getting so annoyed, I'd be like, no, like I'm gonna prove her wrong. Like you know. And so like that was like kind of like the start of like me wanting to like start to build something for myself.
Or what do you think?
That's what came to my mind. I
Yeah.
think the best investment I've made is my wife.
Mm.
She I don't think I'd be where I am like with my business and be as motivated if I didn't have her to like remind me of like where I'm going. She's really an awesome person and has helped me pull the potential out of me that I always like talked about and kind of had, but she's like keeps pushing me to the next level. And she's an amazing partner to like build all of this with. Definitely a investment too.
Hmm. What advice would you give to the 20-year-old version of you hustling to make it right now?
Hmm. I would say stick to one thing and actually just like stick to it. You're not going to see the results right away, and that's okay. Right away doesn't mean a year. Right away doesn't mean 5 years, but just like stick to it, and eventually like you're going to reap the rewards. But if you keep like planting the seeds, the right seeds, you're going to get the results. I think when I was like 20, like I'm thinking like I'm writing goals for myself. Like at 18, I'm going to be a millionaire. At 21, I'm going to be a billionaire, and like setting kind of like unrealistic or unattainable goals because one person has done it before. Like you see the statistics somebody did before, and I was at the mindset like I can do it, and it didn't work out. Okay, I'm gonna switch to this other thing. Like this is gonna be a better vehicle to do. Switch to the next thing, and I think now it's more like, no, we're in a good vehicle. Like this is great. People need roofs. We can be the best at roofing, and we can really grow this thing. There's potential. There's market opportunity, and I would just tell myself like, hey, like just focus on one thing, be the best at that one thing, and you can accomplish a lot more in 10 years than you think, and you're going to probably think you can accomplish a lot more in 1 year than you think. So give yourself time, and you're going to see the results that you probably couldn't even imagine.
For someone with $5K, a laptop, and no connections, what would you tell them to do today?
Okay. Well, number one, if you have no laptop, probably would be a good idea to use some of that 5K to get a computer. I would say get a computer, learn sales. You might say, well, I don't want to be a salesman or whatever. So don't think that like sales is like the end goal. Like you don't need to be a salesman forever selling cars or something, like used car salesman. But learn the skill of like how to convince somebody to do like to see things your way. That's what sales is. You're just convincing somebody to like see things your way. Whenever you have a conversation with somebody, if you ask someone out on a date right now and they tell you no, then they just sold you. But if you convince them to go out with you, then you just sold them. People don't look at that as sales, but that's like the basis of what it is. It's like you're just letting somebody else understand like your view on things. You know the best salesmen are?
Who?
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. You know anyone without an iPhone?
Not unless they're kind of strange, you know?
That's
what it's come to.
You know, but I love that you just said that because the whole idea behind Apple's marketing is like you're cool if you have the product and you're not cool if you don't.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah. And I think also like the green, the green bubble compared to the blue, right when someone has an Android, it's green.
Like, dude, why don't you have an iPhone?
They make it noticeable.
It's done on purpose for the fact that it's you literally just said it. Like it's like something's wrong with you. Like it's like that's the whole marketing thing. Why do you buy a new iPhone?
Yeah.
You want to be like keeping up with the Joneses, bro. It's cool.
Exactly.
How much does it cost them to make an iPhone? Like we could guess, but like it's nothing compared to what they sell it for, right?
Right.
So learn sales, get a laptop, and then start to generate some money for yourself, and then learn how to multiply that money for yourself too, and like build a team, build systems, and then once you have like your business, build it to sell it, like build it so that you don't have to be, the business will run without you. Like if you can leave for 2 months right now, build it to a point where they don't need to call you once for anything. Jobs are still going to get pumped out. Sales are going to keep coming in. Team's going to keep growing. like build it to that point. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, how do I build my company and team in place so that if parts move, if people leave, like make it a machine that runs with or without you, because then you've made something very, very valuable that you can sell, that you can milk the cow, that you can like, you're building like a crazy asset. So like build something. And it all starts with like learning sales, because you got to sell your product. You also got to sell your team on why they're working with you instead of someone else.
Mm-hmm. How did your real estate and high ticket sales background help you break into roofing?
I think that when you're saying like 18, 19 years old, like this house is like 2.3 million, like this house is like, $1 million, and you're saying these big numbers when you're coming out and like doing like home improvement sales or something, like, and you're like, hey, the roof is going to be 20K. Like you already have the confidence because you were saying big numbers from before, right? I think that helped me a lot, just by having that real estate background, because real estate's in like the millions, right? And then when you come into roofing, average roof is 20,000, 40,000. We do commercial jobs like, $1 million plus, right? So it just depends on the it just depends like on like, the roof and everything. But having the high ticket sales, like I learned how to handle like objections, right? Like when you go to sell a roof, like everyone probably thinks it's so easy, your roof's leaking, they're gonna say, oh, I need a new roof. No, they're gonna go out and say, hey, I want to get like 5 different quotes. Please email that to me and we'll let you know. Right? So like if you wanted to go sell a roof for me right now, bro, I bet you couldn't.
If there was like a hole in it, I probably could.
Okay. So then what are you going to say when the guy says to you, okay, cool, thank you, just email that to me?
Email like instead of going and like talking to him?
You're supposed to go there and get the contract right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to try and the customer is going to say like, because you're basically saying with like an iPad or a piece of paper, like, hey, I just need you to sign right there. We'll get this started next week.
Yeah.
It's only going to be 49,000.
Yeah.
49,000. Like, bro, imagine if somebody's trying to get you, like you just bought a house, you're new, you just saved a lot of money, and now you bought a house, now you got to fix the roof. No, bro, can't you give me an option for repair? Like, can we do like a thing?
Right,
so there's a lot like behind it, right?
Oh,
and
100%.
Somebody who doesn't know sales, right, or
Yeah.
doesn't understand like how to build value, that's going to be very difficult. So like it takes a lot to like to explain that to somebody so they understand, okay, you know what, that makes sense. So my goal when I bring in somebody into our team is like, hey, I'm going to take you out with me for a week. So you can learn like how we do things differently here. I don't want somebody who has roofing experience in a sales position, because whoever they worked with before messed them up. I can tell you right now, because they're doing it differently than how I am. So I'm going to I want them to come out, like learn our process. And my process is very simple. Like I sit with the homeowner, I get to know the person. I like to build a relationship with them. I want to be able to like, feel very comfortable with you, because when somebody buys from you, they're going to want to buy from somebody they trust. Okay. And they're going to pay 10 times more money with somebody they trust. Okay. Now we're competitive, but at the same time, there's a lot of competition. Yeah. And so you have to explain to somebody like why you're the best. That's what high ticket sales taught me. It's like how to differentiate, how to handle like when people give you like a response, like they don't want to do it. I got to talk to my husband, I got to talk to my wife, I have to pick up my kids from school right now. Just like they're trying to find ways to get out of that uncomfortable situation of like the exchange. And so it's like, if you're able to just sit back and relax and just understand everything they have to say, validate everything they're saying, and just kind of like put them at ease and like say like, we're going to take care of that for you, and kind of don't treat every like objection as an objection, and look at it more of just kind of like a complaint. You're able to get through that kind of like uncomfortable feeling that you're feeling. They might not even be feeling it. You get through it, and then in the end, you're able to provide them with like an awesome product. You're able to stand behind it and like be there for that customer. So it's it's that being in those high ticket sales, learning like those processes, like follow up processes if you don't sell on the spot, like all these things that we've implemented, that has really taught me a lot on how to like communicate with people properly, so that you're able to get like those sales, and then you want to get you want to get referrals from those customers, and build a book of business.
What's your big why beyond money and business?
I think I want to give back to. I grew up with like a single mom. I want to give. I want to pay off like mortgages for families, support single mothers. I want to. I'm right now working on like how do we get a program together that we can give a roof away to families. Like I know Antis Roofing. I seen they do that for like Habitat for Humanity. So how do we start like getting involved? Getting our labor to install like a roof. For a family for free, right? Give back. I think that's part of it. Part of my why is like I think I just want to like prove it to myself that like I can have an amazing I can do it. And then I also want to like I like nice things. I like luxury. I like to be comfortable. So I want to build like that for myself where it can't just be taken away because I don't make like a paycheck or I get fired from a job or something. Like I want to be able to build it like where it's kind of indestructible. And I have like real estate paying me every month. I have investments that will continue to grow so that like I have that security in my life that like I know like my future generations are covered, my family's covered, my wife is covered.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with a lot, so I think that like fuels me and always has of like I need to like build something great for myself. We always had everything we needed. We had love, we had a great house. We grew up in like good neighborhoods, good schools, everything, but like I always wanted more for myself from like a very young age. Like I think when I first like tasted like a little bit of like a buddy had like a G-Wagon and like lived in a gated community, and then I was like, dude, how'd your family do that? Like, like it kind of, because I think when you grow up like in like a certain around a certain life, you just kind of assume that that's how it is, and like people talk like, oh, that's only. I remember like my mom would say comments like, I want like a BlackBerry. Like one of my buddies had like a BlackBerry, like when we were growing up, and I was like, I want a BlackBerry. Let's get one, because like it was like his dad's old phone or something, and then she was like, what did she say? She was like, BlackBerries are only for executives, and like I was like, what are you talking about, Mom? Like my friend has one, you know what I mean? And like I was just like, so it was like those little things that would like, instead of like getting so annoyed, I'd be like, no, like I'm gonna prove her wrong, like I like and so like that was like kind of like the start of like me wanting to like start to build something for myself. And then like I grew up with my dad. He was very we found out later he had dementia. But like he had like a stage where he was like not the best dad. Like there was like things that he was, but it could have been just he was going through what he was going through mentally and stuff.
Right.
But I think that was always like, as when I was younger, like I'm not gonna be anything like my dad, like I'm gonna be better, like I'm gonna prove everyone like I'm not my dad and this and that. I think that was like some kind of like a fuel to the fire at some stage until like I made peace with all of that. But it's just, I think the why is always evolving, but more than having like a why or like a reason or a thing to do it every day, I think it's falling in love with like the boring routine, having discipline. Like you can go ahead and say like, oh, I feel motivated to go to the gym today, right? You feel motivated for a week, then you're sore, then you don't go for a couple days, and then you kind of stop going, right? Like, or you can just say like, nope, every day I'm gonna go. If I feel like it or I don't feel like it, like it's not based on feeling. It's just like that's the routine. I'm gonna stick to it, right? And so it's the same thing in like when you're trying to build like a business or you have goals for yourself or anything. Like you just have to just keep showing up even if you don't want to, because like that's what's best. That's why there's so many people that come here from like other countries, like immigrants, and they build like I think Ricardo said on here, like the IRS stats is like 80% of all millionaires are immigrants. And it's like this mindset of like the opportunity here is not available all over the world. Like you can't just like the freedom of speech, the freedom, the ability to just like open a business and grow it and all these things, right? Like that's not available everywhere in the world. It's not as easy as it is here, you know? So you have to like, you have to make the most of what you have, and we have a great opportunity here. So, let's just take advantage of it.
Final message to young entrepreneurs watching this. What's the one thing they need to hear right now?
It's a good thing if you're listening to like podcasts like this, because you don't need to have like a mentor that's working with you to get out of like wherever you're at to where you want to go. Like you don't need to have a personal mentor like sitting with them. Like you can learn from watching, like from learning, listening to people that have the experience. Like there's no shortcut to success, but there is one, you know. And the hack to get to success quicker is by like learning from people who've already done it, already made those mistakes, and hearing their stories, and then just like listening to their advice on what to avoid. Like that's the only shortcut. You know, you still have to work hard. There's no like, you're not gonna just like invest in Bitcoin and become a billionaire. Like if you want to try that route, good luck. But if you want to like get rich for sure, or like build something for yourself for sure, get out there, like learn like some skills that can make you money. Like learn sales, like, you know, go out there and get a job. Like if you're going to want to be like a waiter at a restaurant, like that's your job right now, that's great. Why don't you try and like get into a nicer restaurant where you can make more tips? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you try and like get another job, like at like learning, like selling something, you know what I mean? Like I used to sell like creams in the mall, like in kiosks at the mall. Okay. And like, now I have a roofing company that's going to do $10 million this year. Like, you know, like, and we're going to get to $1 billion in revenue. So like, just like start taking like small steps. Like, you know, if you're making $2,000 a month right now, or you're making $1,500 a month right now, figure out how to get to 2,000. Like, what do you need to do to bridge that gap for the extra $500? Like, take it step by step with yourself. Don't compare yourself to someone like at that next level. Just figure out like your next step of like where you need to go. If you have a roofing company now, for example, and you're trying to grow your business to the next level, maybe it's just you and a crew working. Maybe you need to figure out how to get yourself out of the field and somebody else to replace you, so you can focus on generating more business, so you can build a second crew. Like if you're a videographer, maybe you need to like, and you're just like, you have a few clients and you're maximized, like maybe you need to figure out a way to like get somebody else to work for you, to help to replace you and help do some projects where you can still make some money. Maybe you need to charge a little more for that. Maybe you need to do maybe you need to you know, build a little like a bigger team, whatever. But just figure out like that next step for you, and don't compare yourself to anyone else, what anyone else is doing, and just like stay focused and like celebrate your small wins. And then once you have some money, like invest in like real estate or something where your money's going to continue to grow. Like have investments, like save your money to invest it. Don't save it just to save it. Like you're going to lose money just sitting there. But like if you let it sit there for a year and then invest it in something, that's great.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Built to Scale. Huge thanks to Quinn for letting me flip the script and step into the host seat. It's not every day you get to sit down with someone building a billion-dollar company from the ground up. If Quinn's story inspired you, challenged you, or lit a fire under you, make sure you're subscribed, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who's serious about building something big. And don't forget, Quinn's new book, Beyond the Roof, looking back on the journey to build a $10 billion success story, is coming soon. Keep an eye out.
It's out now.
It's out now. My apologies.
Link in bio.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.